Hi, everybody, and here we are, another day of Let's Write a Novel Together. Lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you get updated on any new videos. And of course, the notifications so you know when they come in and you can get that little alert. So do join me if you are liking what you're seeing on screen. So we are working through Story Genius, Lisa Cron. If you haven't got a copy, I really encourage you to. It's fantastic. There should be a link in the description below for you to get your own copy. And we've been working through this. But specifically, we've been working through the first part of this, because that is the part of the book that really spoke to me, that I thought was Story Genius. I love Lisa's approach to developing the character that you're working with, your protagonist, before you delve into writing the story. But it really just helps to give some background on that character, that person that you're going to create a world for and whose life you're going to turn upside down. It really helps to build that person out. And I'm a big believer that actually good story is about character as opposed to being about the plot. The plot for me now comes second to the character. If I know enough about my character, then I can see how they might respond to things, and it's their response, how they respond to something, that then dictates the direction of the story and which way it's going to go. Then, of course, we throw in some plots and we throw in some brainstorming into the mix, but we want to get to know that character first and understand their backstory, so it's going to feed into the current story that we're writing about them. And what I think Lisa, certainly Jenny Nash, calls story present, so that what is happening right now in the present moment of the story. So this, I can't remember which day we're on now. I think we might be on 12 or 13, but we've been going through it, and we've come to the end of the sections that I wanted to work through, the end of the sections that I particularly like, and that was part 2, creating the inside story. This is what I really love about this book. There's a few different parts to it, and it's part 2 that I particularly love. Part 3 is about going into writing the book itself, and for me it just gets too complicated. I have to admit, I switched it off at that point. I'll go back to it, I'm sure, and have another look at what she said, but for me it just seemed to get too complicated. So now I'm going to give you probably what you've been wanting to do all along, which is that permission, that kind of to go ahead and start writing now, because you know a lot about your character now. You've understood a lot about their backstory. You now know something about the world in which they live. They're normal as we're coming into the story. You now know that you're going to disrupt that normal with something that means something, that there is something that is switching their world around, is making them see life for themselves in a whole new way. And we're going to move into that with the story. You're going to switch that up, and that is what's going to take your story forward. And crucially, you've been working on the misbelief that the character has. You know, what is it that they think about themselves that is not serving them well, that's not helping them get what they want or where they want to go in life? And they're going to need to switch that up. They're going to need to change that belief that they have if they want to achieve the outcome of the story. And I think this is an element of craft that really a lot of people stumble with. You know, it's not just about, you know, I'll ask people, what is your character's flaw? And they might say something like, they've got a really short temper. They're always losing their temper. Now, that might be something that they do. That might be a symptom of the flaw that they've got, but it's what's behind that. Why do they lose their temper so quickly? What is it that makes them do that? What's happened in their past to make them defensive in that way, to make them aggressive in that way, that they so regularly lose their temper? So I'm hoping that by going through this, by working through Story Genius, you're going to have more of an idea of how to formulate that misbelief, formulate that flaw, that the character has, so that you can see a way of going forward and changing that over the course of the novel. So now, you know, go for it. You've no doubt, I have no doubt in my mind that you know what you want to do. You know roughly what the story is going to be. You know where you want to get started. But now you've got all this juicy information about your character that's going to feed into everything that comes next. So that's what I'm doing. I am now delving into the story. I've obviously been thinking about the plot line, the storyline, as I've been working on all of the behind the scenes stuff, the inside story stuff. And so now I'm going ahead and I'm working on the novel, and I would love for you to do the same. So go for it. See what happens, see where it takes you. Don't get caught up in too many details. Just go with the flow, go with the process, see where the story takes you. And if you don't know some details just yet, just put some crosses in, put a square bracket in, make a note, come back and fix later. Come back and revision and fix it, because you never know, by the time you get to the end of the first draft, you might have changed that bit anyway. So let me know how you're getting on with it. Let me know how you've been finding Story Genius in general. I'd love to hear your experiences. And I'd also love to know, has going through this process helped you feel more confident going forward with your story? You're not going to have everything worked out. You're not going to know the whole story. Nobody ever does when they're at this point in time. But do you feel more confident in taking the next steps and moving into the story? And do you feel confident that actually, hey, now that I've done this pre-work, now that I've done a lot of thinking about my character and getting to know them, actually, do I think I might finish this one? Might this be a manuscript I finished? So let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. All right, take care for now. I'll see you next time. Bye.